This fucking music is amazing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays the Terminator in this movie, is basically Michael Myers, but he's a huge motherfucker, and he's not a methodical killer. He's just going to straight up murder you. He's the Terminator. He's a big motherfucker. You can see his ass in this movie. Look out, world. Here comes the Terminator. That looked like it hurt. Michael Biehn just breathing here makes me grip my chest, because the way he fell and how Michael Biehn is selling the fact that, yeah, time travel fucking hurts.
Listen, I need you to come pick me up. My bike just broke down. I don't care what you're doing. Come and get me. What the? Man, you got a serious attitude problem.
The Terminator. The fucking Terminator just doesn't give a fuck. This is a scene that is straight out of a horror movie.
Sarah Connor?
Yes?
This is a horrifying scene, and it makes me feel for Kyle Reese's character. This starts off as being kind of funny because of what the boyfriend says.
Don't make me bust you up, man.
But then it turns into a fucking massacre.
This movie is like a nightmare.
The tension that builds during this moment is mwah. It is fantastic. The music, the way it's shot, the illustration.
Sarah Ann Connor, secretary, 35, shot 6 times at less than 10 feet.
Maybe make these jackals work for us for a change. If I get on the tube by 11 o'clock, maybe she'll call us.
2 hours ago, 35-year-old Sarah Ann Connor was pronounced dead at the scene in her Santa Monica apartment. Sarah Louise Connor was slain by a lone gunman earlier today in her home.
Fuck you, asshole.
Come with me if you want to live. Come on!
This is a very intense sequence of events.
I'm here to help you. I'm Reese, Sergeant TechCom, BN 38416, assigned to protect you. You've been targeted for termination.
All aspects of it, the music, the intensity, the illustration, the acting, the sound effects, all of it brings emotion out of me, and it's great, and it's horrible. This exposition moment is kind of silly. I just think it's kind of cheesy because it's an exposition moment, but the way Michael Biehn is delivering these lines is great, and it's pretty compelling.
His name is Connor. John Connor. Your son, Sarah. Your unborn son.
This is another intense action sequence. This is a nice moment, even though Arnold Schwarzenegger Scarface T-800 looks like a puppet. But hey, you gotta use what you got, and to me, it's a perfect illustration for the story about how the Terminator ended up wearing glasses because he had to rip his eye out because it got shot out. So I like it, even though it looks fake.
Fuck you, asshole.
Michael Biehn sells the shit out of playing Kyle Reese. Like, this scene right here is fucking awesome.
You can't stop him! He'll wait for you, reach down her throat, and pull her fucking heart out!
Doug.
Let go of me!
This police station scene, it is pure intensity.
I'll be back.
Woo! You know you did.
Imbecile! You let him get away.
We get a flashback moment with Sarah Connor having a dream of Michael Biehn's lifestyle, and it is very sad. It's sad the way the music plays and the situation we see these people in. It's sad. It hit me in the feels.
Your world is pretty terrifying.
I came across time for you, Sarah. I love you. I always have.
Now this seemed kind of sudden to me, where Kyle Reese confesses his love for Sarah Connor. It just felt necessary for the convenience of the story to make sense, whereas John Connor is Sarah Connor's son and he's in the future, but she hasn't had him yet. He hasn't been conceived, so we need a father, and we don't have time to try and introduce some random person. And since Michael Biehn, Kyle Reese is already here, we'll just have this whole confusing little plot about how this guy from the future is the father of a boy named John Connor, and Sarah Connor's the mother. Sarah Connor is from the past. Kyle Reese is from the future. So Kyle Reese coming back into the past to bring somebody to birth in the future makes no sense to me.
God, a person could go crazy thinking about this.
You're goddamn right.
But Michael Biehn's performance here, he sells it. Even though the moment feels unearned and cheesy to me, the music kicking in and Michael Biehn's performance makes it compelling.
I love you too, sweetheart.
Give me your address there.
This has been a very intense, hit the ground running, non-stop movie with drama and intensity and great story building here. But leading up to this climactic battle, we've learned that the Terminator is very much what Kyle Reese has said.
That Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
But he's a horrible shooter. He does not, his targeting system must be off.
My targeting system is a little messed up.
We have a nice moment where our hero rises and destroys the Terminator, and it's awesome. But then Terminator actually comes back to life as its machine form, and it's ready to kill. And it just shows, it's a little cheesy when you look at it. It's a little cheesy, because it's the technology and the digital effects weren't up to date, but it's a compelling story, and the Terminator character, all the stuff is compelling and it's intense. So I just don't even worry about that. All this stuff here, I don't even worry about it. The Terminator is very menacing because at the end it bitch slaps Kyle Reese. So it shows that you cannot fight a Terminator. You can only try to outsmart it. And then in a good switch of character traits here, Sarah Connor at the beginning of the movie, who was just your average citizen, and Kyle Reese, who was a soldier from the future. Now the roles have switched. Kyle Reese is still the soldier from the future, but he is tired. And Sarah Connor, who's at this beginning of the movie just, your average person, she comes out of it a reborn soldier. She even tries to motivate Kyle Reese to stand up on his feet.
Move it, Reese! On your feet, soldier! On your feet!
So that's a good switch of character. It's not dynamic or anything. It's quite simple. This movie hits the ground running, and that's what I like about it. As soon as it starts, it never stops. There's only a couple of small moments within this. There are only a couple of small moments sprinkled throughout this movie where it slows down. No, that doesn't make any sense. There are only a couple of moments in this movie where the story slows down. Other than that, it's intense, it's driven, it's going, it's non-stop, it's action-packed, it's got good characters, it's menacing. The Terminator, the theme in here at the beginning is interesting because you hear the Terminator theme and it's dark, and then you hear Kyle Reese's theme come in, and it's like this light overshadows the dark. It's fantastic. I enjoy the theme. The music in here is crazy. And the story, as simple as it is, it's entertaining and it's interesting. I love this movie. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. It hits the ground running, never stops, and that's why I enjoy it. I love this movie. What more can I say? That's all I have to say. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.
Present.
No.
End of story.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes total sense.
Let's get back to the present, maybe. But back to the past.
Back to the present.